Well, welcome, CRRA 2019 in Rancho Mirage. Welcome to your CRRA family. At 43 years, our organization, this conference, has been and continues to be the mainstay of innovation, dialogue, partnership building, and let's be honest, one enchanting time with the movers and shakers of zero waste, climate action, and sustainability. You are our future. We have this week with over 600 attendees from all over California, all over the United States, and beyond, with the farthest attendings coming from Guam. Representatives from 35 California counties are here today in the room with you. 181 cities are being represented over the next week at our conference. We are here with elected officials that are working at ground zero to implement zero waste and sustainability for their community. And with that, I'd like to recognize those elected officials that are in our room today, and I ask that you please stand. Thank you for your leadership. Gloria Garcia, the mayor of Victorville, is a registrant. Woo! Rick Dennison, council member, town of Yucca Valley. MacArthur Wright, council member of Big Bear Lake. Oscar Ortiz, city of Indio. Aaron Gomez, city of San Luis Obispo. And Art Bishop, council member, town of Apple Valley. Thank you for being here. Your support is amazing at that ground level. So as an elected official, thank you for supporting what we're doing for zero waste. Your leadership, whether it be as an elected leader, a student, a government staffer, an activist, a nonprofit leader, a member of the private sector, is paramount to a sustainable future for our families and for the state of California. This is what makes CRRA, the innovation in this room. We had over 300 program submittals for the content that you're going to see this week. Again, we are leading the way. It is so exciting to come to this conference every year. I learn something every year I've been here, and I've been coming to CRRA for over a decade. We are creating, CRRA, everyone in this room, a culture of zero waste. And again, why are we celebrating the culture of zero waste here at CRRA? Culture is simply doing it, not talking about it. We do more than profess our values. We practice them. My purse has my reusable bottle, my cutlery set, my straw, everything in it. And you name it, my team has the same. We are clear about what we believe in and hold important, and with that, we inspire others. People follow and behavior changes because they're inspired by what you are doing on a daily basis, whether it be at work, school, or your office and your community. So again, thank you. I am inspired by each and every one of you. Again, why would a pregnant president drive, actually my boss drove me last year, across the state of California at 9 months to come to this conference. It is to create a better future for our family. And I know one of the most important things many of you wanted to see tonight is our youngest member of CRRA, Miss Charlie Tag Worker. She'll be 1 year in 1 week, and she was up here on the stage in my belly last year, and it is very exciting to create that future. So again, with that, I welcome you to CRRA 2019. Let's pave the way for the future. And I'd like to introduce our Executive Director, Tracy Bills. She's making it happen every day for us. Thank you.
I don't know if I can follow Charlie. She's pretty cute. So I've had the pleasure to assist CRRA this year as the executive director, and I've enjoyed working with all of CRRA staff, board members, sponsors, technical councils, and especially our amazing members. You all make this so much fun. I'm excited to announce we currently have over 650 members, 44 sponsors. Yeah, 650, that's huge. Yeah. We have 44 sponsors, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. 42 exhibitors, so we actually sold out the exhibit hall, and that made a little extra space for all of our exhibitors this year, which is amazing. As Colleen had mentioned, we have over 600 attendees this year and have met and exceeded every budgetary goal for the conference this year. So thank you to all of you for being here and allowing this to happen. I wanted to talk a little bit about this past year and some of the things that CRRA has done. First off, SWANA, CRRA, and the California Refuse and Recycling Council, we've partnered on market workshops. We've had 2 so far. We have a 3rd coming up in October, and it's going to be in Sacramento, so stay tuned for that. And then additionally, we're going to be teaming with the National Recycling Coalition to do another markets workshop in Chula Vista this November. So look forward to those workshops and being able to participate in those. We've also had a really successful certification program year. We had 17 students in May in Oceanside, and we'll host another class in Oakland in October. So look forward to those notes as well. And then the other exciting news is that CRRA has partnered with the Northern California Recycling Association, NCRA, and we're going to be hosting the NRC Zero Waste Conference this next March during Zero Waste Week with the NCRA update. Yeah, which is really exciting. So NRC and NCRA and CRRA are working right now on the program. If you are interested, we have more information at the front registration desk, and we'll also be at the Technical Council booth that's in the exhibit hall. So look forward to that and more emails on that exciting program. So with that, of course, I have a few housekeeping items. First off is please make sure you wear your badge. And when our volunteers ask to see your badge, they're just following policy. So we appreciate you to understand that. And if you have any questions regarding your badge, go to the registration desk. There should be a ticket in your badge for Wednesday's lunch. If you are registered for Wednesday and you don't have a meal ticket, please go to registration. And then lastly, we have a few spots left for our topic lunches today. So if you would like to register for them, please go up to registration desk to sign up, and that would be from 12 to 2 today. All right. So now we get to move on to sponsors. I just want to make a note that this year we have over $197,000 worth of sponsorship from the 44 sponsors, which is amazing for Southern California. We just are grateful for all of your support and participating here. So heartfelt thanks for all of that. What I would like to do is we're going to announce each one of the levels. And what you're going to do in your group when I announce the company name, you'll come up here, we'll take a picture, and then you're going to exit, and you're going to go to the back for your certificate. All right, so first up is President's Circle and presenting sponsors. And then that would be Cal Recycle, Mojave Desert and Mountain Recycling, and SoCal Gas. So if the 3 of you come up, these are our President's Circle. They are the major sponsors of our conference. And they're our local hosts. Thank you. Next, we have the gold sponsors, City of Livermore. Come here. Guys, got to be quicker. We got to go. Oh, you know what? Here, we'll take another picture. Matt, come on up. Sorry. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Yeah, I was like wondering, is anybody here from Cal Recycle?
Here we are. All our glory.
Sorry, take 2. All right, thank you. Thank you. All right, we're going to name the gold sponsors, so make sure you chop. We got to get up here, right? Okay. What? Oh, one group? Oh, I didn't get the memo. Okay. So City of Livermore, City of San Diego Environmental Services, Mattress Recycling Council, R3 Consulting Group, Recology, Republic Services, Rethink Waste, San Francisco Department of the Environment, and Stop Waste. Those are our gold sponsors. Thank you. Our silver sponsors are Athens Services, Bush Systems, Cascadia Consulting Group, California Refuse Recycling Council, City of Cathedral City, City of Indio, City of San Jose, Green Waste, HF&H Consultants, Marin Sanitary Service, Monterey Regional Waste Management District, Scrap Gallery, Stanford Recycling Center, Peninsula Sanitary Service, Tetra Tech Waste Management, and Zinker Recycling. Thank you, Silver. Okay. Our CRRA bronze sponsors. Oh my God, we got a crew. Oh, that's what I was doing. Oh my gosh. Well, you know, we're just gonna bring everybody up at this point. All right. Burtech, so bronze sponsors, Burtech, we're having a party up here. Anybody else want to come up? I don't know. Burtech, City of Chula Vista, City of Napa, City of Santa Cruz, Napa Recycling, Recycle Smart, Salinas Valley Recycles, Specialty Solid Waste and Recycling, Zero Waste Marin. Thank you, bronze sponsors. We have our friends sponsors, California Association of Local Conservation Corps, California Association of Recycling Market Development Zone, City of Sunnyvale, Culver City Public Works, Economics, Mount Diablo Resource Recycling, Nature Works, Union City Recycles, and Zero Waste Sonoma. We're gonna try. Let's go ahead and take this picture, and then I'll do reciprocal partners after this. And I realized I actually didn't even announce they weren't on the list, Michelle. SCS Engineers is I know it wasn't on the list, is the bronze sponsor. You want to come up?
Your hair's better. Thank you. Shiny reflection. Did I get the makeup?
You know, last year, William's going to give me a bad time, because last year I got this totally wrong as well, and I said, this year I'm going to do it right, and I thought I was on the right path, and apparently not. So this last group is a special group. There are reciprocal benefit partners. We have reciprocal agreements with each one of these, and as I announce them, you'll understand why. They are major partners for us in this industry. The first is the California Product Stewardship Council, Californians Against Waste, Container Recycling Institute, Keep California Beautiful, the Swana Gold Rush Chapter, and Waste Expo Waste 360. So if all of them can come up, that would be great. We'll take a quick picture. Thanks, you guys. So as I'd mentioned, all the certificates for our sponsors, you can find them in the back. All right, so we're going to move on to our keynote. It's my pleasure to introduce Timothy Bouldry. First time I saw him present was at the SWANA and the ISWA Joint Conference in Baltimore. It was really amazing. His story is incredible. I was very touched by it, and since we actually brought him out for the NICRA update in March in Northern California, and he and I had a chance to go to dinner. His story is amazing. He's amazing because of the work that he's doing here. So I'm excited to have him present to you all, and you can see all the good work that he is doing in other countries. Timothy Bouldry documents open dump sites and the communities living from them. He works with environmentalists and humanitarians to help create cases for governmental powers to understand the changes these places need. Bouldry's presentations have been given in conferences all over the world, explaining dump sites stories from countries in Latin America, Asia, Africa, and the Middle East. He currently resides in Nicaragua, where he is directing the ISWA Scholarship Programme. The program includes 70 students living at 2 dump sites in Nicaragua and 1 dump site in Kampala, Uganda. Timothy, it's a pleasure to have you here. Please join me in welcoming Timothy Bouldry.
Thank you. Good morning. Thank you for that really sweet introduction. That was amazing. And thank you for the CRRA for inviting me here today. I'm always grateful for the opportunity to share these stories. And it comforts me to know that people care enough to want to listen to these stories. Like when people ask me, I'm like, really? You want me to do that? That's amazing. Great. So I'm inspired to be by your side. And I'm not much of a morning person, so I prepared a couple of jokes, and they might be good or bad, I don't know. So you guys seem really kind, okay, so I haven't even told the joke yet, it's funny, all right. Okay, so why are environmentalists bad at playing cards? No, you might know, I don't know, okay. They like to avoid the flush. See, okay. The second joke, I kind of made up myself. China has recently banned plastics from being imported from other countries. So Pamela Anderson needs a vacation in Malaysia now. I love Pamela Anderson, by the way. That's it. Okay. I think she would like that joke. Anyways. Okay, now seriously. Here we are. Oops, if we go back. Just want to make sure this frame starts. There we go. I've been documenting dump sites in developing countries for a little over 10 years now. I do it in order to bring attention to important issues environmentally and for humanitarian reasons. I do it it's not in my intention to point fingers at our global neighbors. In fact, the USA is the largest ecological footprint in the world, along with China. In fact, we are the leading culprit when it comes to looking at numbers associated to climate change. Therefore, when I photograph trash in other countries, I'm not pointing my finger and saying, look how mismanaged that country is, look at what they're doing to the planet. The same problems occur here. However, the problems that exist here are more hidden behind veils, or they're shipped away to other countries. And this makes it more difficult for me to personally investigate and to exemplify. But I am interested in moving in that direction to work more in my own country. But the point of my work is to find connections as a global unit. How did that bottle from the USA make it into an illegal dump in a forest in Latin America? It is the time to come together and share ideas and work together on these issues. So as someone from the US making images from other countries and the theme of waste, please realize that my work is not about race, but rather it's about waste. And I'm sure you're familiar with this map, the Global Footprint Network. This always changes, but just to remind us that we are responsible more from climate change. If you look at the numbers from the United States and you compare that to, say, India, India is still up there, but we surpass everyone by so much. China's up there too, and then of course Europe is up there as well. And why is that? So I'm gonna start talking about the different dump sites I've been to, and I'm gonna go into a little bit more detail about La Chureca in Managua, Nicaragua, because I've gone there for 10 years and I've lived there for 4 years now. The dump site came to be because of the 1972 earthquake that displaced 80% of Managua. The rubble was transported there to a farmland. People who had no home, nowhere to go, migrated there to repurpose the materials that were being built. It eventually became the main municipal dump site for Managua. President Somoza was in power at this time and was seen as a rich dynasty that did not provide enough to help the people during a time of need. The Contra Sandinistas started a war that broke out towards the end of the 70s. The dump site became a safe haven for individuals who wanted to avoid conflict or hide. Into the 80s and 90s, business and recycling progressed. Nicaragua was and still is the second poorest country in the Western Hemisphere after Haiti, Word spread that there was free land and money-making opportunities booming at this place called La Churreca. The community grew to be 1,800 individuals and 250 families, and half of them were children. It became the center of attention and had a reputation of being a very terrible place. And at this time, Managua Lake was ranked the second dirtiest lake in the world from sewage lines that were directed there since the 1920s, including the dump site that was on the shoreline itself. So the watershed was very contaminated, and it showed in the visual health of the local agriculture and the community. The Spanish Agency for International Development Corporation funded a project with 39 million euros that would clean up the dump, provide jobs at a sorting plant, and build a community for the families. Everything looked like a clear and positive solution, but there were some bumps along the way. During the construction of the houses, there were torrential rains that flooded a shoreline called Manchester. The local Nicaraguan government immediately relocated those people into the Spanish-made homes. This upset both the project managers and the people from La Churreca that were promised these homes. So the Nicaraguan government were forced to build their own homes, but it was in very low quality in the same area. And this barrio was called Villa Guadalupe. So now it's home to 3,800 people, both from the dump site La Churreca and also the flooding victims from Manchester. At the sorting plant, there's only 580 jobs available, and they were offered, they're being offered a lot less money in their salary than when they were working informally. This leads to hundreds of people from the area going back into La Churreca to informally work. And they're also taking, they capped and cleaned the dump site, but now they're taking all the trash they can't sort and they put it on top of what was already capped. They attempt to create a wall to keep people out, and you can actually get shot at or go to jail for attempting to go in and recycle. There's a map of the area right there. La Churreca in the top and a village in the bottom. I was capable of sneaking into a prison. If you have a priest with you, you can pretty much go anywhere. So I photographed some of the people that were arrested while trying to recycle. And some of these homes are becoming like little sorting centers for people as well. And then just politically right now, I recently moved back because I have a whole team down there working, but I had lost a friend during this past year because of all the conflict and the civil unrest. And there's not a lot of local news about it, but there's a lot of political situations that's making everything a little bit worse. Now I'm going to go into really quickly characteristics about each dump site. This is another dump site in Nicaragua called Chichicalpa, and I chose this picture because he's a sugarcane worker, and sugarcane is a huge business in the north of the country, and they use lots of pesticides. They come around in planes with these pesticides, and what happens is that when these people work in the harsh sun and with the pesticides, they get a chronic kidney disease. If they get this disease, then they lose their job, and if they lose their job, they migrate to the dump site. So I find a lot of workers like that there. This could be anywhere, okay? But this is in Jinotega. I've seen many cases where they just take trash and they throw it off the cliff. There's people that live at the top of the cliff and they go down and recycle. It just seems like, why would you even just throw the trash off the edge of a cliff? If people are trying to recycle, at least put it in an area that's accessible to them and deal with it that way. In this image, I'm thinking most about the person in the wheelchair on the right. A lot of time I see very elderly people. This past week was actually the birthday of Gilma, who's 99 years old. I don't know how she does it, but she lives at the dump site and she's been there since her 60s. So she has over 30 years of living there. But I feel for the people there that are either disabled, handicapped, and elderly and still have to live in those conditions. I also see a lot of bio-waste and a lot of like animal parts and things that get thrown here. This is all pig blood, and of course that's gonna change the whole structure of the agriculture there. And I just came back from Mexico. If you're a vegetarian like me, there was this enormous pit of just intestines. It looked like something out of A Nightmare on Elm Street. It was like, but speaking of Mexico, I just came back from Mexico. I visited 6 sites, and they're really working on advancing themselves in the industry. They're putting down a lining, because in many of these places I don't even see a lining. But they do have, they estimated 1,600 dump sites there. And this is a co-op called Sikanda. They have many different projects, and this was just one that I found. But what I saw here is they're deciding on where the trash goes. So I don't think it's gonna be common from what I saw that you're gonna find illegal dumping in the country. They're gonna organize and put the trash in one place, and then they're starting to line the dump sites, and they're also trying to create co-ops so that people are happy with their work environment. They have shelter, they have uniforms, and they keep all the money that they're recycling. So these people are pretty happy with this. Now, this is Neza 2. This would be like the big dump site of Mexico City. There's a lot of people working there. They are organizing co-ops, like 6 co-ops work in the same area. But I want to show you this because this is Neza 2, and now look at what was Neza 1. So Neza 1 is all green. It captures gas. It's just emitting the gas. It captures, and then there's a huge mall. There's like a little police station. There's like a sports center. So everything that dump site is now, that's what it is now. And then they're trying to transform the second one into something similar. But it's a big problem and takes a lot of time. This is in Kampala in Uganda. And this is a women's co-op recycling here. And this site is really big, so it's really difficult to try to manage. And I think they're doing a good job with what they can do. And the women were really happy about the money that they make. They make more money than some lawyers and police. So sometimes they're like fighting to keep their job because there's a demand for this work here. But it has some problems, like look at how the proximity of the neighborhood. They did a really good job with capturing the leachate, and they're irrigating the leachate, and eventually it gets clean enough that they can run it back through into the watershed. How clean that is, I don't know. But, that's like the main city. Now you go into smaller areas, and those smaller areas are the problem a lot of the time. So here we have a small dump site, and there's kids that go there to sell bags to the people that want to recycle. This is kind of funny. This is my friend Sam on the right, and he has a nonprofit in Uganda to try to help bring connections and networking all the recyclers together. And so he's holding hands with this guy as they're walking through this small dump site in the market. And the thing in Uganda is, like, when I went there, I had this impression like they're kind of homophobic and stuff, and I didn't know what that was going to be like. But they also have a habit of holding your hand for extended periods of time. So like if I meet someone, like I meet another man and say, hello, how are you? I'm good. And normally you're like, okay. But they hold your hand during the entire conversation. So you're like, I'm good, how are you? Good. My mother, yeah, and then this, yeah. And then I'm like, do you want to date? I don't know what's going on here. Just some characteristics, and I'm pointing this out just because I see this in a lot of different countries. Glue huffing, medical waste, whether it's broken open or unused. He has a can, he's cooking inside the dump, and then, little puppies and stuff. That's how I got my little puppy named Lana Del Rey. Don't make fun of me. Here he is cooking some soup. All right. One thing that's interesting, because say like a country like Uganda, you can try to work with the government, and maybe they'll work with you, maybe they won't. Maybe you're like private investigator and start kind of snooping around. Or sometimes like I'll just go to like the taxi driver and say, where does the trash go? And then I just sort of follow it and see what happens to it. And then you get like a real honest perspective. This taxi driver took me to this place, and it's a huge illegal dumping in the middle of the forest. There was a project, a water project that was from Switzerland nearby, but it was like they were almost dumping the trash on top of that project. I just want to show too that a lot of times babies sometimes are born in the dump. Like I met a kid in Honduras who the mother gave birth, left the child, someone else found the child, and luckily he's being taken care of by an older woman. And he's doing okay. But I just want to show generationally, this is something that can be broken. Like if we just don't allow children in the dump, that could eradicate that situation. This is another example of dumping like in a swamp, and there was a woman that needed to go into the swamp to take out the trash. And you know, there's alligators and things in there. Why put it in the swamp? Just put it like right next to it, like on the dry earth at the least, you know? This is an interesting story because this is a little evidence of climate change. What this is an alligator cage. And it's not there to cage animals. It's there as a cage that you go into to protect yourself from the alligator. So you go into the cage to fetch water. And there's so many alligators at this lake. This is in Queen Elizabeth Park, that the alligator snaps and grabs people and pulls them in. So they made a cage so that you can safely go in and get water without that happening. But in the mountains in the distance, all the snow caps are less and less and less. And because of less snow caps, there's less water running down into 9 rivers, including the Nile River that goes to Egypt. And of course, this lake as well. So because of that, there's a lot less water, and you can see it receding, and now there's like grass and everything growing inside the cage. This is an area, again, in Uganda where they were trying to create a lining, and this is just to show like the problems people have sometimes. Is like they did a really good job like making this hole and like, you know, making effort to make that into a sanitary landfill or the first steps of it. And then someone came in the middle of the night and just threw like animal skin in there. And now it's like contaminated. They have to go clean that all out. In Venezuela, I was really interested in a tribe called Wawau. And the Wawau tribe lived up in the jungle of the Amazon, and they would come down the delta 2 weeks by boat, and they migrated to this place called Cambaleche, where there's a dump site. And they were looking for clothes primarily because, you know, there's not a lot of Walmarts in the jungle. So they come down there and they look for clothes and they look for things to repurpose. They're not so much into like the recycling business. And they work as a group. They go in the morning, they come back at night, they bathe, they eat. Unfortunately, it's also in close proximity to red mud, bauxite. So there's an aluminum factory. This is them going to the dump site. This is how they repurpose. They might make a refrigerator into a closet or a flotational device. And then that shows, that's Google Maps, that shows you how large the aluminum, the red mud is, and then right next to it is the dump site, and right next to it is their community, and right next to it is the Orinoco River. And I would love to go down there and test that one day. In Haiti, just quickly, 2 things. Toutière is the dump site in Port-au-Prince. There were 200 people that were working there. And then after the earthquake in 2010, there was 2,000 people working there. So there's a big example of like an earthquake and environmental issue that is pushing people to work at a dump site. The guy in the bottom left, he spoke perfect English. He was very well educated, but he lost his school, his family, his home. He had no options, so he came here. The guy on the right is lifting up flour to cook with. And then other than that, there's a lot of just dumping, you know, like, oh, we're going to start dumping things here, and everyone kind of agrees to dump in the same place. And what happens is that along the shore, like say here in Jacmel, high tide comes in, pulls in all that trash, and then brings it all onto the beach. I also took interest in refugees and war trash and how that might affect a migration towards dump sites. And I found in Jordan, there were Syrian refugees that migrated to the dump sites there. The boy in the bottom, he actually brought his Zarate refugee camp tent with him to the dump site. This dump site is many hours away from the refugee camp, but he gets a special permit with his father to leave the camp, to go there to recycle, to make some extra money, and then go back to the refugee camp and then repeat that over and over. The different characteristic of Honduras and El Salvador is the mala salvatrucha. The gangs have control over the trash there, and they do it by paying the most money for the recyclables. So naturally, everyone wants, you know, the highest bidder, and then from doing that, the gangs have control over the people, they have control over the land. If they're going to do a drug trade or an arm trade or someone disappears, it's a lot easier that way. And then also, they have their regular waste and then they have their bio-waste. And their bio-waste is just like in a different area separate from the regular waste, but people still go through it. And it has everything. It has blood, it had samples of feces, it has placentas, it has everything. This is in San Pedro Sula. There's more dump sites in Honduras. All right, I clicked you. Okay. In Bangladesh, I could say a million things, but you know, I only can talk for so much time. When I went to this dump site, what I noticed was it was very mushy, very methane-y. It was like burning my eyes. And I was like, what are you guys looking for? There's like nothing in here. And it turns out that, you know, there's every year they have the sacrifice of all the cows. And so there's like millions of bones that go into the dump site every year. And so people are searching for animal parts for the bones. And then they sell these bones to a bone mill, and then the bone mill grinds it up and sends it to India. And then somehow India reprocesses it and puts it into vitamin pill, gel caplets, into the gelatin that you might eat for dessert. So you might just consider that during the conference. And then in the bottom, I'm just showing in a site like this, there's no kids allowed. You know, there's someone there that says, nope, you're gonna go to the school, you're not gonna go into the dump. Okay, so I had a little love affair, obsession with this bird. It's the greater adjunct stork. It's like 8 feet wingspan. It's very prehistoric, and I traveled all through the mountains and everything to get to this bird. Bird wasn't so social with me, but it was really interesting. It got really close to the other people, but for me, it was like, I don't know this guy, and it kept flying away from me. And here just shows more, you know, India, people living inside the dump. It's very wet, you know, it's like very moist. I feel like there could be a sinkhole if you fall in the wrong place. And it's true in a different way. It's true here in Guatemala at Zone 3. This is in Guatemala City. I'm taking this picture from a cemetery that's way up on a cliff. And when there's torrential rains, all of that water comes down and the cemetery falls. I have some video footage that's from YouTube, thank you very much. But it shows you an aerial drone view of this, and it's really impressive how these angles give you the perspective of the massiveness and the problems. A lot of times the homes fall in, the cemetery falls in, and then there's a river that's flowing through the trash. So it creates sinkholes, and people fall in, and sometimes trucks fall in. So I couldn't access all of these areas, so what I was curious about doing was following the river. I'll just let it run a little bit more because there's some interesting shots. And they're recycling everything they can find, like little pieces of nails. And this is back to my shots. This is the cemetery. That's the massiveness of one part of the dump site. And then this map shows how far I traveled. I traveled 5.72 miles away from that site, and still the trash in the top right corner is like flowing, and people are still recycling many miles away from the dump site still. And you know, with those torrential rains and everything, there's a lot of water issues, and it mixes with the drinking water. So a lot of people there recycle to get bottled water, which seems like weird. When I went to Colombia, all the dump sites that I found were closed. And I was told that all the dump sites were closed, and everyone were put into co-ops. So an organization called RANCHO helped with that. And so say, for example, on the top left, this man, he has like an identification card. He gets to keep all the money that he recycles, and the local mayor's office pays a salary on top of that. Because now they have a Bill of Rights passed that needs to recognize his work as being a public free service for his own country and his own town. So this seems to be working there. There was like a small informal sector that I found in Barranquilla, but it was more like drug users and, you know, like a really small area. Did you guys buy your Trump straws yet? You know, $15 for 10, they're gonna go quick, you know. So those liberal paper straws, they just don't work. So. Okay, so the ISWA Scholarship Programme was designed to remove people from the dump site through educational and work opportunities. This year we have 70 participants ranging from elementary school, university, and tech careers. Most are out of the dump, but there are some individuals we're still trying to work with. Here's a graph that divides 19%, unfortunately, are still going to the dump, but they are going to a public school. 24% are not going to the dump and going to public school. And proudly, 57% are not going to the dump and they're going to a private school. So this means that 81% of the students are not going to the dump and all are going to school. And the program supports elementary, high school, college, university, tech careers. And in addition to school, we also developed the ISWA Center. I meant for this video to start a little bit later because the center looks so much nicer than what's presented in these first frames, but I had bought one of the houses from one of the families, and then with that money, they were able to buy a plantation, and so they started doing farming on the East Coast. And it's kind of an ugly space, but trust me, I beautified it and made it into a beautiful, nice little space. And here we have our tutoring classes, we have English classes, we have kids that are we have young adults that are studying to be a doctor, so it's starting to be more required that they're bilingual, so we offer the English classes for them and also for anyone who's interested in working in tourism. And then in addition to that, we also have 3 new kids in Uganda. They're from the Kampala dump site, and they're going to a live-in boarding school. And this is news since January, and so far I've been getting good reports that they're doing good. You know, it's a complete package. That's why it seems so easy to do, because I have my friend Sam in Uganda to help me, and they're able to just get the whole complete package. They get food, they get rest, they get to go to school and church. And next is Melkin. I told you that there were pesticides in Chinandega that was affecting the health of people. He's going to talk about that and why they moved to Lechereca. and he's one of our ISWA kids. And he wrote this song with some other people. He's grabbing a chicken that's sleeping in a tree. It's very traumatizing. Let's see.
My name is Melvin Javier Rivas Sanchez. I was born in Chichigalpa, in the countryside. When I was 6, my family left for Nicaragua to live in the CRRA trash dump. Because here we have a lot of illness from contaminated water. They put pesticides in the sugarcane, and these pesticides seep into the earth where our drinking water is. Then they run together, contaminating our water supply. You can't drink the water from the faucet too often, because there is a volatile illness called chronic kidney disease. Here, someone dies every day from this. La CRRA is an area with lots of smoke and contamination. But we didn't have many options, because here, the people are dying, and we were scared. If I had stayed here, I might have died too. I lived over there since I was 6 years old and started working when I was 8. Since I was little, I was always working. Now I live over there, the new barrio, via Guadalupe. They constructed all those houses for the waste pickers. On this side of the dump, there was a high, steep hill. When I was little, I would search in the dump for wood planks and 4 wheels to make a car. I would play with my friends and drive my car down this mountain to my house. When it broke, I would repair it, because it was the only toy I ever had. I met Timothy in La CRRA, and he asked me if I was interested in receiving a scholarship to study. And of course, I accepted. He put me in a private school. He started to help me in many ways to leave the dump and follow my studies. But afterwards, I had to work at La CRRA after school to help my sister pay for her tuition, because we had no money in the house. I had to confess to Tim that I was back working in the dump. But since he also gave my sister a scholarship, I haven't been back since. Tim has a lot of work to do for all the kids here. He works with both trash dumps to help more children. He has helped this community a lot and taken a lot of kids out of the dump to place them in schools. I asked him if I could help him, because he has helped me so much. Next year, he is going to put me in school for technology and English. He found me a job working as a mechanic and bought my mechanic tools. He helps me with everything, so I help him in the office, with his car, and with other jobs.
And this is Malcolm now. He's working for CAT, C-A-T. It's like, it's a pretty famous mark. And it's a really difficult job to get, so we're really proud of him for that. And that's his dream. It's like, I was like, really, you want to be a mechanic? No, okay, that's your dream, let's go for it. He's gonna show us, just to get an idea of the neighborhood a little bit. This is a unique way to recycle by using bio-waste to smoke drugs, but just to give you a little bit of an idea of the neighborhood.
With this, the drug users smoke crack or cocaine. They look through the trash for medical waste to make a pipe for it. This other one is not finished yet. They put the rock here and they smoke crack. They sell the crack in all of this zone. The buyers would go to La CRRA to buy the materials from us. Now we have to bring this to them here, because they can't enter La CRRA. It's dangerous with the police, security, and everything. But we have to bring this from La CRRA to here. We have a problem with the water. The water comes when there is a lot of rain, and it runs through here. It smells horrible. A lot of the kids in the ISWA program live here. All this sewage water runs through to Mananga Lake.
running out of time, so I just want to say real quickly. This is Noemi. She's been in the program for a couple of years now. She made it through private high school, and now she's in university to become a doctor, and in the first year is going well for her, so we're really proud of her. And then this is another family. I had ended up buying them a house. They had a lot of drama and issues in their life, and all I kept thinking about was just those kids, because I met those kids in the dump and went from the kid to the parent to their home and then around again. So this is just a story about them.
My kids are in the ISWA program. ISWA has given me the support I need. Thanks to God for putting me in your path, because the program has helped me and my children so much. I work in the trash dump and was bringing my children there. But since the day I met you and brought you to my house and see you dad at Sandino, you started to change my life and the lives of my children. My life changed before in see you dad at Sandino, because my husband committed suicide. He left me alone with my children, and now my life has been a lot more difficult. The family of my husband threw us out of our house. They wanted to take my kids too. But my mother fought for me and gave me support. She helped me a lot to move forward with my kids and not have my children taken away. I had a pig pen with my husband, but it was alone. Later, all of my animals, my horse and carriage, everything was stolen by my husband's family. I was forced to move to the street. They burned my clothes, they took everything and threw me out like a dog. I had nothing, nor a place to live. I just moved along with my mum and my kids. But thank God I met Timothy. He gave me support, put my kids into school, and now things are more secure. The help he gave me is to keep my kids studying for their future, to one day be great people, and for nobody to bother them. I know they will do something with their lives, because now one of them is graduating. Thanks to ISWA for buying the graduation gown, and to my daughter Cynthia, who is moving into her next grade too. It makes me proud, and Timothy too, because we are fighting for their future now, so that they can move forward with their lives. Our lives are sad and painful, because every day we work under direct sun or during rainy times in the dump. We work from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. We recycle materials to be able to survive. In the dump, we find food to eat for my children and my grandchildren. We have a problem with the husband of my daughter because he committed suicide due to many addictions. My son-in-law abused my daughter a lot, and also my grandchildren. Now, the ISWA program has provided us with a house because we lost everything from before. They threatened to kill my daughter and my grandchildren. I am afraid as a mother they will do something to them, because now his family is following us and bothering us again. With the help of Timothy, we feel more secure and supported. With his help, the kids study, and now we have this safe and beautiful house.
Okay, and just to think about steps for improvement, and just from my experience of being around, start by making unregulated dump sites into semi-regulated dump sites, meaning don't allow children to enter. This can be done nationally and then implemented into each mayor's office. Then decide where the trash needs to go in one designated area. It's not illegally dumped wherever. So enforce harsh penalties on that. I always think about, like in the United States, it's like, if you throw something out in that park, it's gonna cost $600, you know? No one's gonna pay $600 just to throw a can out. So no one ever throws a can there, you know? Now the trash goes to one place and there's no children entering. Next, organize a co-op and protect the co-op with financial and civil rights. So it seems like when there's an organization, like an NGO that can help protect their rights, working with the government office, and then also working with the waste, and in the government, it seems to make a nice triangle. And then from there, start creating better work environment, create shade for the workers, line up the dump so that you can start to capture some of the the gas. It's not going to contaminate the watershed. And then slowly making steps into a sanitary dump site and releasing those gas emissions. So in conclusion, I would like to say from my observance so far that the world, I hope, seems to be slowly closing their dump sites. I generally think the world is becoming cleaner, but I also feel like it's 3 steps forward and then 2 steps back sort of thing, and it's not happening fast enough, and it's very possibly already too late. But it's never worth giving up on, and we never want to be moving backwards. And that's all I have today. I still have 1 minute and 40 seconds if you'd like me to say anything else. Thank you.
That was really impressive. Can you
Thank you.
tell us what we can do to support your organization?
I'm going to be at the booth for the next few days, but you can go to ISWAkids.com, or if you look up my name, Timothy Bouldry. I work under the nonprofit Right Path Projects, but I also have it doing business as the ISWA Scholarship Programme. So I have like a fund put aside for that. We need funding for 2020. There's always like this fear around this time that I have no money for the next year. And then ISWA is the International Solid Waste Association in Austria, and somehow they always magically help me out around October. So I'm always hoping on that, but I always need funding too. So you can speak to me directly about it. And then we have the scholarships now that's in Nicaragua. We're testing out Uganda, and that seems to be going well. And I'd like to move into Mexico, because when I went to Mexico, I felt like everyone was so open, like the mayor came and visited me. They put me in an office and made me do a presentation in Spanish. They're like, oh, we don't care if your Spanish isn't perfect and you didn't know that you were going to present, just talk. And I'm like, that's the opposite of Nicaragua. They don't even want me in the country, And then here they are like, what are you doing? This is interesting. We want to help. We want to close down the dump sites. So yeah, just talk to me or go to ISWAkids.com and contact me at shootforchange@yahoo.com. Or if you'd rather do it directly through ISWA in Austria, that's an option too. They have an account for us.
I'm going to go ahead and ask a question since I don't see any hands, but I was surprised a little bit to hear your optimism at the end, because it felt like to me the pictures that we were seeing were catastrophically bad.
Yeah.
Can you speak a little bit more to where that optimism comes from? I mean, what are some of the 3 steps forward that you're seeing that maybe I missed?
Yeah, and that's a good point, because it's like, it's hard to like show everything that's happening all at once, because you have thousands of dump sites sometimes in just one country. So if I show like the most organized dump site, I might be missing the most disorganized dump site. And a lot of the pictures that I show that look horrible usually come from sites that are a little bit smaller, and the ones that are bigger are a little bit more organized. So my optimism comes when I go into a new country and say they invite me and they sit down and talk to me and they say, okay, this is everything that's happening. And then I go out there and I take a look myself and I say, okay, it's true. Like when there's an open dialogue going on between us, rather than me sneaking around and trying to figure out what's happening, that brings optimism to me. And then also when I see at least a lining in a dump site, or at least them enforcing children not to enter. Actually, a lot of pictures in here are from the Messiah dump site, like the kid in the suitcase and all of those. And there were a lot of kids in that dump site. And I started going in there and photographing and asking questions. And I don't know what happened, but about a year later, I did a checkup on that same dump site. And they hired someone to stand there and watch everyone that goes in. And the guy told me, there's no kids in here. You're not going to find kids. And I said, can I go in and just take a look? And I didn't see any kids there. So it made it like, okay, there's no kids here, but there's still kids in Esteli. But all they had to do was this, you know? And so I think it's happening very slowly, but that's why I'm trying to stay hopeful about it.
I see a hand here.
Oh, maybe if there's a mic? Okay, sorry about that.
I was just concerned about your physical health. How are you avoiding diseases and that based on your surroundings?
Thank you for that question. Because when I was in Nicaragua, I was sick like all of the time. And then at one point I had like H. pylori and some other bacteria I don't remember the name of, and I had a parasite. And when I had all of those at the same time, that's when I knew, okay, I'm sick and I need to do something about it. So luckily, I was able to find doctors privately, and you know, like there you can go to like a clinic and just get tested for this and that, and then find the solution. And so I did it that way. And to be honest with you, like I haven't had health insurance in the United States since I was 18 years old. And I've just been living, like taking care of myself, trying to eat right, try to do yoga, try not to drink too much alcohol, but like, but you just never know, you know? And my mother was just recently diagnosed with lung cancer, and she was a smoker, but when she was young, you know? And so you just never know. So right now, I want to find some health insurance to get myself checked out, because I don't honestly know. I don't know if there's something inside that I don't know, but yeah.
Hi, incredible presentation, and I want to thank you so much. I've seen pictures of dumps in third world countries, and one of the things that I always think of is that certainly in the West Coast, we're still sending container ships of material to Southeast Asia. It's not China anymore, right? But we're still sending them there, and we're sending larger amounts, it would seem. We're still not dealing with them here. We're still sending them away. And I think seeing these pictures and publishing them, we have to start making that connect the dots kind of experience between what we're doing here and what's going on there. Yeah. And I wonder if you had any comments on that.
Yeah, what I've been noticing, and you know, and that's been more in the news lately, and I've been being more observant about the actual trash, because when I took a lot of these pictures, it's only a few years ago, but I was focused more on what was going on out here, and keeping a check on what type of trash is there. But now, like when I went to Mexico, I was like picking up and like meticulously like looking, where was this made, where did this come from? And actually in Mexico, I noticed that a lot of it was made in Mexico, and it was recycled back in Mexico too. So they seem to have a little bit of a circular economy from what I could observe there. But definitely I think places like in Asia, where we're like shipping out large masses of trash, and then, you know, if China doesn't take it and say, you know, Malaysia takes it, and they don't have the capacity to deal with it, it ends up in a dump. And then you're like, we're recycling here, and then it ends up in a dump in someone else's country. It just seems like it's a total crime, you know?
Okay, one more question over here.
Thanks for the presentation, Timothy. It was very eye-opening, I think traumatic even for a lot of the grizzled industry veterans in this room that have been at this for a long time. Do you have any sense for, you know, across the world, how many people are working and living in these sorts of dump environments? I don't know if you have any guesstimates on something like that.
Yeah, there's been like 2 studies that I can think of, but they're very different from each other. One mentioned 30 million, and another mentioned 15 million. So I think unless I were to connect with another person, an anthropologist or a scientist, and do my own study, I think I could try to figure it out. But I also think the one thing that's difficult about waste is that it's always changing. You know it's always going to be produced, but you don't know how much it's going to be and how that's going to affect things. Like, for example, in La Churreca, after all the political unrest, it killed the economy. So the economy is not doing well, no one's buying anything, there's less jobs, so there's more people working at the dump site, but there's less things to recycle. So I think we can give an estimate, maybe around 30 million, but I would fact check that one.
Tim, how much does it cost to educate a child in your program for a year?
It depends on the country and the type of program they're going to go into. Generally, it's around $400 a year. And in that range, we're able to get the materials, transportation, a little bit of food, like something for lunch every day, and then the monthly cost of a private school, like a modest private school. Because sometimes we have students that are very studious, and then, you know, sometimes we can find a sponsor that is willing to work with that person and offer more money, and they go to a better school. So the range is like $400 a year.
When your organization first visits a country, how do you explain your purpose or your mission? How do you describe what you're going to do?
The best way I found was I write the president of ISWA, Antonis, and I say, hey, you know, I'm going to this country. Do you have any connections? And almost always, they know the exact person, some engineer that worked in landfilling or mining or something for 20, 30 years in that country, and they know everything, and they're interested too. They want to know about all their dump sites in their own countries as well, because that's part of their passion and their drive. So that's been the best way to do it for me. And then I see the type of options and things that are presented to me. Maybe it's a country that's very difficult to crack, and I have to kind of go there informally, tell everyone I'm a Canadian, and like, you know, sneak around.
That's all the time we have for questions.
Okay.
Please join us in another round of applause for Timothy Bouldry.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
I know that's a really deep subject, and we've got a lot of stuff going on here at home, but it kind of puts everything in perspective, recognizing the work that we're doing here affects others, but we can also make a difference. So the scholarship program is pretty incredible, and I haven't told Timothy this yet, but I'm going to actually sponsor a child this year, so we'll chat later. Anyways, he's at the booth in the exhibit hall if you want to further talk with Timothy. So this year we're doing things just a little different with our CRRA awards. We wanted to be sure that everyone has the opportunity to see the amazing contributions and accomplishments of our awardees. So we'll be announcing the 2019 recipients today and tomorrow during our plenary. So to start us off, I'd like to introduce John Davis, one of our board advisors, to present the first award.
So, good morning. So we're proud to recognize this morning 4 incredibly worthy awardees and are honored to celebrate their excellence and accomplishments in our CRRA community. I'm pleased to present the 2019 Zero Waste Achievement Award. This award goes to a progressive business, government agency, community-based organization, or school that has made the commitment to zero waste, implemented outreach programs, and excelled toward the achievement of their zero waste goal. This year's recipient is Mars Pet Care of North America, located in Victorville. And here to receive the award this morning is the mayor of Victorville, Gloria Garcia, and the city's recycling coordinator, Dana Armstrong.
I feel very honored to be the one to receive this award for Mars Pet Care North America, and this will be presented at one of our council meetings, public meetings in the city of Victorville, and hopefully it'll be this coming month, or in August, or? Probably September. But anyhow, I will make sure that they receive this award, and we are so proud of them. Thank you very much.
The next 3 awards honor individuals for their exceptional contribution, not just this year, but throughout their personal and professional lives. They are truly role models to us all, and we are so proud to acknowledge their accomplishments with you.
So the CRRA Service Award, this award recognizes exceptional service to the organization, a contribution of time or resources beyond expectations. And Colleen and I are giving this award for a personal reason as well.
We'd like to ask the family, the people that have worked alongside, known, or have heard of the zero waste magnet, Rick Anthony. Please stand. Rick, we love you. Come on up here.
Hey, give me 1 minute. I want to say it's been a long, strange trip. I want to thank all my friends from the Southern District who constantly re-elected me these 21 years, and it's been my pleasure to serve you. Thank you so much.
Our next award recipient, I'm really excited to announce this recipient. Her career and her leadership, I have had the fortunate opportunity to see and be a part of that alongside her. I've looked up to her over the years, and it is with great pride to present this award to Ms. Ana Carvalho.
Thank you very much. I want to thank CRRA Board for this prestigious award. It means the world to me, being recognized by people that I look up to and taught me so much. As an immigrant to this country, a Latin, this movie was very touching, so I am a Latin immigrant to this country. This means a lot to me, that I'm able to give back to the place that I adopted as home. And you recognize me, it means that I did something good, a little bit good for my adopted home. And that means a lot, and we have a lot to do. I would like to thank everybody that touched my life professionally. I won't be able to. I want to thank the City of San Diego for the career opportunity, Mike Wansler from the County of San Diego, Colleen Foster from the City of Oceanside, Manuel Medrano and Lynn France from the City of Chula Vista for the constant exchange of positive things and support. I want to thank Cal Recycle, EPA, Andrea, you were here somewhere, for the support and the awards. I want to thank Nora and Real from Biocycle, Nora Goldstein, for being my gurus, and Rick Anthony for always being in my life and encouraging me. Having a Lifetime Achievement Award means that I'm old. I know I am. But you made an old lady very happy. Thank you so much, and I hope I can continue to contribute to make the world better. We gotta do it.
It's a real pleasure to give this award, announce the Recycler of the Year award, having received this a couple times over the last 40 years. It's a real honor to be able to present a man who significantly contributed to the resource conservation and throughout the career in California. I worked with him for the last 20 years, setting up programs all over the state of California. The recipient this year is Kurt Smith from Albertsons.
Thank you very much for this honor and this prestigious group that I'm with. I know all of them. I've dealt with them in one fashion or another. Funny thing is, you said this is your 43rd conference. 43 years ago, I loaded my first bale at Vaughn's Grocery Company of cardboard. Right after that, we started some things. We started food waste there in 1994. We put every one of our stores on a food waste program. In 1997, Safeway bought Vaughn's, and we put 200 more stores on a food waste program. We kept going, and then in 2015, Albertsons bought Safeway Vaughn's. So another 130 stores we were able to add onto a program that wasn't there. So if Cal Recycle's in the room, I want you to know that as April 1st, 2016, every one of our 600 stores in the state of California is on a full 100% composting, recycling, food waste program. And so kind of the moral of the story is you don't just keep recycling, you can also recycle your recycling manager. Thank you.
A lot of steps this morning already. All right, well, that wraps it up for our first session today. Again, thank you so much. We are really excited to launch the 43rd Annual CRRA Conference. I have a couple housekeeping items for everyone. We've had a really neat first-time film contest, and we did have 3 submittals for the film contest. So those are going to be showing tomorrow with the Straws documentary. Also, as a reminder, if you are a SWANA certified member, or also you have a certification through the U.S. Composting Council, we have partnered with them to be able to provide certifications for going to programming. I see Despina looking at me, so. Okay, and then we are also going to be having CPSC awards, so sit tight. We're not done just yet. I should have known that, Despina. I'm part of CPSC. So we have a little bit more great programming this morning, but before we move on to the awards, I just want to remind everyone again about the certification opportunity. So just check that out at the registration desk. Also, we have a shirt that we've given to Rick Anthony, and we're asking the CRRA family to sign messages to Rick. He has been a phenomenal mover and shaker in our organization. He's not going anywhere. We just want to celebrate him a little bit as well. We do have a Wi-Fi password. It is free, and it's all lowercase CRRA2019. We also have an app that goes over the program and provides information about the conference. So you can find that for free at the App Events XD. So search App Events XD, and then once you download the app, you just search for CRRA 43rd Annual Conference. So with that, I am going to be welcoming Heidi Sanborn and Doug Kobold up to the stage because we're going to be moving on to the California Product Stewardship Council Annual Awards Ceremony. So thank you.
All right, well, let me unfurl our illustrious label. There we go. Just want to make sure that's going to stay up there and not fall down. So, okay. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for attending this ceremony. It is my honor to be able to distribute the awards, the 10th annual awards for CPSC. We like to acknowledge folks who have gone to great lengths to improve our environment, to lead us more to a zero waste world, and doing it through circular economy. Because as you may know, CPSC is all about extended producer responsibility and product stewardship. And so I want to thank personally Heidi Sanborn, who was the founder and executive director for the first 11 years of our organization. She did an awesome job of getting this organization up and running and bringing it to where it is today. So. Several of our board members are here today. I'm not going to take the time to point them out because I know we're short on time, but board members, thank you very much for all your support. It's greatly appreciated, certainly by me, to get your support to keep this organization going and thriving and doing what we do best, which is to make this world a better place. So without further ado, I'd like to get into the awards. All right, so our first one is our, let's talk about what we do for our awards. So we do these again to acknowledge those folks that go above and beyond out there in the industry, to let them know that we care and that we appreciate what they're doing. Our award categories are green design, coalition building, take back, and stewardship excellence. And so our first one is the Green Award, and that's for system innovation, system design. So to keep this suspense, Circular Polymers is our award winner for 2019, and that is going to be received by David Bender. David Bender is the Chief Executive Officer of Circular Polymers. So what does Circular Polymers do, and why do they deserve this award? So they've come in and, come on up, David. They've come in and created a system. They've created one in Lincoln, California, that actually does, takes carpet, old carpet, takes it down to its various fibers, and through a very clean and innovative technology that's the first in this area, I believe, or in the world, in the nation, that uses very low energy and also no water, which is very important because most of the processes you have to clean those fibers before you can get them repolymerized, and so that is a huge accomplishment. And so without further ado, I want to present this award to Mr. Bender, and it's a Green Arrow Award.
On behalf of my partners and all the employees at Circular Polymers in Lincoln, we are truly honored to receive this award. I'd like to thank Doug and Heidi and the CPSC team for recognizing the efforts of everyone at Circular Polymers. I would also be remiss if I didn't include all of our partners in this. It really takes a lot to have gotten as far as we have so far. So I'd like to thank the folks at Carpet America Recovery Effort, Green Waste, A1, just to name a few. If you have carpet in Northern California, we want your carpet. We are lucky enough to be upcycling it into areas such as automotive. There's a brand new advanced manufacturing plant coming on that you probably read about by P&G. So we're actually taking carpet and turning it back into bottles, if you can believe that. Really just tremendous upcycling opportunity, what the circular economy is all about. So again, I'd like to thank Doug. I'd like to thank Heidi. I'd like to thank all of you for your efforts. So we want your carpet. See me. Wes is around here somewhere from Green Waste. He's in the back there, the good-looking guy. Okay, so he's got a booth. Please stop by, and we look forward to getting your carpet and upcycling it here in California. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, moving on to our next one. Our next award is the Bow and Arrow Award. And this is for coalition building, bringing people together to further our cause, further our mission. And so, without further ado, the award goes to Corona Enterprises. And Cody Harrison, who is the founder and owner of Corona Enterprises, is coming up to receive the award. So why do they deserve their award? So Cody works with small businesses and large businesses to create ecologically sustainable systems, and he does that through realigning what they do with the local economy, what do we need to do? We need to bring it local. We heard already today about how we're sending stuff to other countries. It's not in it where it should be, so why aren't we taking care of this stuff locally and dealing with it where we should? So he also helps those companies do own stewardship through incentives. And so without further ado, I want to bring up Cody. Thanks, Doug. Appreciate it. Where's our Nate? Okay, got it? Okay. So,
Thank you very much. My name is Cody Harrison. I'm the founder and owner of Corona Enterprises. We're based in San Diego, and currently we're working on projects related to urban wood salvage and regenerative agriculture and cooperative business models, trying to make a difference in those areas. Want to thank the California Product Stewardship Council for this award. It means a lot. For those of you that know me, you'll know that I can't get up here but get on my soapbox for just a minute. I'll keep it brief, but with this audience, I just have to do it. So I think from my perspective, we're losing this fight. Things are really not looking good. Last year, we burned more fossil fuels than any year in history. The rate of Amazon deforestation is only increasing, and we have wiped out the vast majority of mammal biomass on this planet. But I think there are things that give me hope. We can regenerate the earth. We can bring all of that back. There's, things that give me cause for hope are organizations like the Stockholm Resilience Center and their planetary boundaries framework that gives us a means of prioritizing our action and allocating funding based on the severity of the crisis. FYI, they say that climate change is the 5th most serious crisis after biodiversity loss, nitrogen and phosphorus cycles, and land use change. Researchers like Stephen Running are showing us that land use change is actually probably at least half responsible for current climate change. And I think that's great news because that and in combination with the hydrological cycle, which is the predominant driver of climate on this planet, those are much easier places that we can make an impact and have much more potential for building ecosystems and the co-benefits that come along with that compared to a GHG-centric mitigation method. And so I think we have huge opportunities to create human resilience and restore ecosystems through some of what we're learning about how the natural world functions, and I think that's great news. So I want to thank the rest of my team and all our partners, without whom this work would not be possible, and thank you all very much.
Okay, so our next award is the Affinity Award, and that's for service and take back. And that award goes to Kaiser Permanente. And coming up to accept the award is Tiffany Hendricks. And the reason Kaiser is getting this award is because they were one of the first chain hospitals to step up and actually start placing medicine take-back bins. Most of you know we have an opiate crisis in this country. We have an extensive amount of opiates being prescribed to us, Schedule 2 through 5 drugs, and most of us have no idea where to put those things once we're done with them. We get 50 pills, we take 2, what do you do with the other 48? Well, they're ending up in the wrong hands. They're ending up with kids, they're ending up with seniors that get confused with their medications, they're getting overdoses. We have a huge crisis in this country and in this state, and so Kaiser has stepped up to help out that situation and give their members and the local community an option to dispose of those medications safely. And so, again, proud to issue the award to Kaiser Permanente and to Tiffany for their take-back program.
Thank you. What an honor to be in front of this group today. First off, I want to thank the California Product Stewardship for supporting our efforts, as Doug said, to keep opioids out of the wrong hands, as well as accidental poisonings, and helping us educate the public on better ways to protect our environment as well. Our Take Back program was really led and supported by our CEO, Bernard Tyson, has the full support of everyone in our organization. Our efforts have led to last year we collected over 114 tons of unwanted medication. We've extended our kiosk locations to 186 across the country. We're over 120 here in California. So once again, just want to thank you. I'm very honored to accept this award from California Product Stewardship.
Okay, our final award is the overall award. We call it our Golden Arrow Award, and it's where this company has done above and beyond on a multitude of levels. And so, unfortunately, the representatives are not here to accept that award, but the award winner is Outerknown. And so, if you don't know Outerknown is actually a clothing company, and they repurpose jeans. They use circular economy to bring materials. They use reused materials to make their products, and they use only organic cotton to make their blue jeans. And so they are doing what we all should be doing, which is making sure we're not just taking virgin material and turning it into new products just so it can be dumped later. They're actually turning it around, and they are truly doing what we want, which is the circular economy, bring it back around and reuse it again. And so again, they're not here to receive their award, but we want to congratulate Outerknown for their excellence in their service for our environment and for the marketplace. So again, congratulations to all those winners. We will have 2 more winners tomorrow. We are also splitting up our awards between the 2 days, and so we will be awarding our Partner of the Year Award and our Associate of the Year Award, so you'll have to stand by and keep the suspense for tomorrow. Thank you again.
All right, that's the end of our keynote this morning. So exhibit hall from 10:15 to the session, I think, starts around 11. Enjoy the exhibit hall and refreshments, and we will see you around. Enjoy the day.